This morning, I have with me Congressman Scott Perry from Pennsylvania to go over the craziness of this world, the craziness of the Texas border, the Biden administration, the upcoming election. Congressman, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thanks so much for the opportunity. Glad to address you and your audience and answer all your questions.
So the first one that I have is, unfortunately, the border is a mess in Texas. There's now 700,000 truckers, over a million patriotic Americans hoping to go to the border, send a message to Joe Biden about the fact that we don't want all these illegal immigrants that we don't know coming in, overwhelming our welfare systems, our schooling systems. Will this be effective at grabbing the president's attention, or will he say, "See, these evil MAGA people are ruining the country"? Is there any chance we're being set up like another January 6th situation? What are your thoughts on the Texas situation?
I'm not sure it's going to be the same thing, any kind of setup. I think this is organic. I think the folks, the good American, tax-paying, hardworking people that are driving those trucks have the country's best interest in mind. They want to use our system of government to protest peacefully and constitutionally. So that's what this is about. I think this is meant to capture the attention of the American people. The Biden administration, the president himself, and the people working around him have shown utter contempt for the American people, the Constitution of the United States of America, the sovereignty of our nation, and the laws of the United States of America. So I can't actually imagine that it's going to get his attention. If it does get his attention, I suspect it'll be another press conference with red lights shining up around him like he's some kind of a dictator from the 1930s, or at least out of Star Wars. And he's going to deride all the American people as racist, as bigots, for wanting their laws to be followed and want equal protection under the law, and don't want to have to spend their hard-earned taxpayer money on people that come here for whatever reason illegally. We're the most generous country on the planet. We have been since our existence, regarding people that want to come here and regarding every single other charitable act known to man. But this is an abuse. It is unlawful. It is unconstitutional. It is unacceptable. And it has to stop. Although I don't think this administration has any interest at all in stopping it. This is what they want to happen, which is why it's happening.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's happening because they're allowing it and they want it. Is it your opinion that Texas has the right to defend itself and its
Yes,
citizens?
of course. And let me be clear, it's not just Texas. Texas is the only one with a Republican governor marginally willing to do anything about it. But let's not forget about Arizona, New Mexico, California, and all the northern border states that are also being invaded, where the chief executive simply is playing along with the leftist script to have our country invaded. They want to change the makeup of the country. They want to fundamentally transform it. And this is what you're seeing. So we just have at least one governor that's willing to say something about it and is marginally willing to do something about it. And let's be clear, putting up the concertina wire is a step in the right direction. But when people come, as foreign nationals come across the Rio Grande illegally and make their way through the concertina wire, they're still going right to Border Patrol and right into your country. Somebody needs to stop them in the middle of the Rio Grande and say, turn around, you're not coming here illegally. If you want to come to the United States of America, we have a process. That's what you'll follow. Otherwise, you're not authorized entry. That's what needs to happen in Texas, in California, in New Mexico, in Arizona, and every other state that's on the border.
Yeah. So I think it's really heroic and patriotic what they're doing. I covered the Canada trucker rally extensively on my channel. I do have a worry, though, that Democrats may be behind the scenes rubbing their hands together going, wow, you get this many people together and all we have to do is set off a percussion grenade or fake, some kind of false flag, or Nancy Pelosi pull back security, let something happen, let the enemy destroy itself. That's my worry, is we're going to end up with like a military skirmish or some kind of fight that breaks out, that now the Biden administration gets to go, look at how evil those people are. This is worse than anything that could have been happening on the border. Go after the MAGA people, and they unleash the DOJ and the FBI on people.
Well, I think it's a valid concern, but I also think that America has now awakened to the fact that the DOJ, the instruments of federal power, whether it's the FBI, the DOJ, the intelligence agencies, et cetera, are weaponized against the American people. So I think they are going to be very careful. But I think you're right to be concerned, and the people that are there need to look around and make sure that they know the people that are standing beside, the people that are in the protest with them, to make sure it remains peaceful, and that they're not led into something and to doing something that they have no intention of doing. And you can look, it's not just the Democrats. The left has used that tactic, quite honestly, ever since the Bolshevik Revolution. Are they present? Most likely they are, but we can't take the bait. And we need to be calling them out. We need to be exposing them for what they're doing that we won't participate in.
Yeah. Okay. Let's switch gears for a second.
Sure.
Exit polling shows the people of Iowa voted heavily for Donald Trump because they believe he will keep the world safe and avoid war. Since then, the United States looks like it's heading towards war in the Middle East with Iran via the Houthis and the Hamas situation. Where do you see the conflict going in the Middle East, and specifically with Iran?
Well, Iran has been an enemy of the United States since the Ayatollahs took over in the late 70s. What the difference in posture, quite honestly, is been provided by the Obama administration, and now doubling down by the Biden administration. Iran has used an influence campaign to convince people in this government, in this administration, and in the Obama administration that they should be allowed to have nuclear weapons and have ballistic missile capability. And what you're seeing is this desire by the current administration to make that deal. And because they're interested in making that deal, the last thing they want to do is enrage Iran. And anytime that you counter Iran and all their proxies, understand this is just the most recent one, right? It's not just Lebanon. It's the Houthis, as you said, in Yemen. Iran has participated in Israel, in Gaza, in Syria, in Iraq, in Turkey. They are a cancer in that region. And the United States is not only allowing it, we're aiding and abetting it by leftists in Congress and in this administration, who have given them access to billions upon billions of dollars, which they've summarily used to kill Americans and promote terror and conduct terror operations all around the globe. The only shining light that I see in this is that the Biden administration, I don't think, really has any will and doesn't have the courage to actually get into a shooting war with Iran. Not that we should get into a shooting war with Iran. Iran can be brought to heel pretty quickly just by reverting back to the former policies of President Trump. And that's what we should do. And then we should encourage the resistance inside and outside of Iran to have the people in Iran replace that government with somebody that has the approval of the people. Understand, the Ayatollahs don't rule with the will of the Iranian people. Sure, there's a population there that supports that, but the vast majority of Iranians don't want that, but they can't get out from under it. And every time they try to, we abandon them or help the Ayatollahs to keep them oppressed because of the deal that's on the table and the billions of dollars that will go to corporations and countries and those aligned with the left.
Yeah. A pattern that I'm seeing just from this conversation is the Biden administration takes office. They say, we're gonna change everything that Donald Trump did on the border. Now we've got a border issue. They say, we're gonna change everything about the financial system, how we spend money, the bills we go after. Then we have raging inflation. Then they say, we're going to remove the sanctions and the terrorism listing for people connected to Iran. Hundreds of billions of dollars flow in. They're giving them back their money in exchange for hostages. And all of a sudden, boom. Like, are you seeing a pattern of remove the Donald Trump era policies and everything goes goes absolutely crazy?
Of course, that pattern, and with all due respect, that's a pattern of left and right, left and right. Every time that we have a Republican president in, the currency becomes more stable, our economy becomes more stable, the border has become more stable, foreign policy has become more stable and more safe. And every time we have leftists in, we have sheer and utter chaos. Now, I will tell you, some Republicans aren't as strong as others, but when you're talking about Iran in particular, the Ayatollahs were on their knees under the Trump administration, and now they've been unleashed. They are a foreign terrorist state and a super state for that matter. And this president has essentially unleashed them and unchecked them completely because they have such a strong desire to make this deal. They're letting them get away with, and not only letting them get away with, if you look at who the negotiators were for the Iran deal and who are working at the Pentagon on behalf of this administration, that's actually appears to be working on behalf of Iran. This is activity that's not just allowing it to happen, they're complicit in it. They are providing aid and comfort to our enemy.
Interesting. Okay. Two more questions. I really appreciate you coming on. Inflation got out of control. We were told, 8 or 9%. Meanwhile, the dollar store's jumping 25%. Everything seemed to jump.
Yeah.
A lot of that came down to energy, cutting off energy, not wanting to produce more energy, going to our enemies for energy. What can be done under a new president in the energy sector to lower energy costs and get the American engine going again?
Well, first, I love that question because I will tell you, I think there's a lot of people in America that don't connect what's happening to their cost, whether it's energy, whether it's groceries. I often say from lettuce to lumber, they don't connect it to Democrat policies or leftist policies, but that's exactly the reason this is happening. It's not because the lumber company is gouging you, and it's not because the power company or the gas station is gouging you. It's because of leftist policies. And so when you say what can be done, immediately under any administration, even under this administration, reverse course completely. America sits on an abundance of clean energy, and we do it more cleanly than any other country on the planet. We should receive access to that, make it easy to get it, and make it easy to distribute it, not only to America, but around the globe. As you know, just recently, Joe Biden said we're going to curb LNG exports and LNG production in the United States, reminding you at the same time that he's looking for a supplemental to give more money to Ukraine. Ukraine's enemy is Russia. If we stop producing more liquefied natural gas, the market will be filled with Russia. It will fill their coffers. Literally, he's asking you to pay out of your pocket to defend against Russia while he's feeding Russia to go fight in Ukraine. These are the policies that are destroying not only your pocketbook, but our country. And it goes much further. It's not just the policies on gas and oil, but then when you look at the fact that the administration was looking at banning 95% of current gas stove usage, or the fact that they're forcing us to electrified vehicles as consumers are rejecting electrified vehicles, and when the grid cannot power that level of at all, even close to that level of travel. And then it goes to the next question, which is, do they actually want you to travel or not? They actually want you driving an electric powered vehicle so that they can shut it off, so they can limit your travel. This is really more about control than anything else, whether it's natural gas, whether it's power, whether it's how you buy your food, or the cost of all of it. It's about control, and they're controlling it through the cost of it, which is what we all knew they were going to do, and they have even admitted as much in the past.
Yeah. Okay. Final question.
Sure.
Can the United States endure 4 more years of Joe Biden?
I don't know. I think the United States could endure 4 more years of Joe Biden, but I don't know that it's going to be looking like the United States at all. Of course, we're changing everything we do from a market-based economy to a controlled economy, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in transportation, in medicine, in academia. And the further we get down the road on that, much more difficult it is to drag it back. And quite honestly, people just don't remember the old days when they were free, when they could go buy the car that they wanted, when they could go buy the gas stove, and when they could afford to go out for a meal with their family on Friday night. They just don't remember it anymore after some period of time. So it's very concerning. We have to do everything we can to make sure that our voices are heard. We do it appropriately. We do it respectfully. We get out and we flood the voter rolls with our votes to reject this administration, these policies, and the people associated with them.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Congressman Scott Perry, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to put a link to your Twitter handle down below. I hope you'll come on the show again. Thank you so much for your insight. I know you sit on the, I believe, the Oversight Committee.
I do. Yeah.
You're doing your best to keep America honest and safe, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a great day as well. God bless you.